Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and today I'm going to be going over the top 10 cards from Stellar Crown. I saw a bunch of other YouTubers doing this, and I decided I'm going to do this. I originally planned to wait a while because there's a lot of stuff that's been going on in the Pokemon TCG with some new reveals and some really cool things happening. And so I was like focusing on that, but I saw a lot of other creators making content on Stellar Crown. I've been making some, but I haven't done like a top 10 list, I don't believe. So I want to do this. This list will be a bit more of, I guess, a standard list, well, like standard format, but also like normal, more what you're expecting. I don't think I have any crazy takes in this video, but I do have some that are, a little unexpected, but as I said, nothing too crazy. However, I will be doing a underrated top 10 cards, and so that'll be a little bit different. And those are going to be cards that you're less familiar with, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. And I'll be doing some other things, including overrated cards too. But this set is a Stellar Crown made up of Stellar Miracle. I don't have any cards not from Stellar Miracle because all the good cards are from that Japanese expansion. This will be coming out in around a month, actually like less than a month, maybe 4 weeks, maybe less. I'm not sure, but I'm really excited. It will be coming out soon-ish. So number 10 here, though, we got Gravity Stone. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is in the active, the retreat cost of both active is 1 colorless more. Increasing your own retreat doesn't really do anything, but increasing your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat can get something stuck. You can do this if you're two shiny Pokemon and nervous about them retreating. You can do this if you're playing some control deck or have some stalling option that you also want to add some control elements. So, for example, if you have Mimikyu in the active, you want to add in, it's essentially like a mini Snorlax ability, right? So you can put Snorlax's ability on like any Pokemon in the game. It's obviously much worse, only increasing it by 1 colorless, but you can compare this with other things like Spidops EX or Calamitous Wasteland or something. I don't remember if that's the name of the stadium, but the one that increases retreat cost. And so that's like fine. It's a little awkward, but it's not that big of a deal. The big thing is you just want to increase it by 1. Most decks are really meant to work with exactly what retreat costs they have. So if you increase it, they're going to struggle some. They might be able to pay it relatively easily, but a lot of decks have to exert more resources. So I think this card is just really solid. I think the best use case, though, is going to be if you want to trap something in the active and then but like they might be able to retreat. They might not, but like if you're trapping Iron Hands EX in the active with Mimikyu, you can Gravity Stone. It's even harder for them to retreat, and you can just be in a really good spot. Next up, we have Galvantula EX. This is a pretty interesting Pokemon, and I'm not going to get into too many details on how to power it up, but just trust me, there are ways that are okay, not insane, but when put together, they are very, very workable. And you have 2 attacks here. You could do 222 and EX or V to one-shot them. That's, pretty good. Nothing insane there, but it is good. Then you have Fulgurate here, your attack, which is this is the first Stellar Pokemon I'm talking about. Yeah, I've talked about them in the past, but this is the first time in this video. And they're pretty much Pokemon with 3 different attack costs or energy costs in their attack. So that is kind of awkward, certainly, but as I said, there are ways to power it up. We'll talk about some, but there's just a ton, and so it is very workable. You do discard all the energy when you attack too, but you do 180, which is a solid chunk of damage, and then item lock your opponent. Item lock's good, specifically if you are able to do it either 1 very easily, which this does not fall into that camp, or 2 with high damage, and that falls into that camp. When I say high, normally they're hitting like 30 damage with item lock. I think in standard that's around what it is. There's a Crobat that item locks, which isn't very good. I think it's a little underrated, but it's not great, and I don't remember how much it does. It's a stage 2. It might do 50, it might do 30. I believe it does 50 though. Yeah, it does 50 on a 2 colorless on a stage 2, and it does 50 in item lock or supporter lock. It's a bit of a weird card, but anyway, Galvantula EX 180 is like way more than we ever see on item lock, so this card is really, really good if you're able to get it to work. And the first attack, as I said, is not bad. Dropping item lock means they're just going to probably play all their items, which isn't great, but it's still very good. Next up, we have Bouffalant. This is the number 8 Pokemon here. By the way, the website is PokemonProxies.com if you're wondering where I got these images from. But Bouffalant here says if you have another Bouffalant in play, so if you have 2, all your basic colorless Pokemon take 60 less damage from attacks done by your opponent's Pokemon. And it does not stack. So there are a few different uses of this. I do think you could play it in control. You could put it in to protect Snorlax or to protect the control Bouffalant attacker. You could also use this with the new Trapgos EX, which we'll talk about later. That's just a good Pokemon. But then you can also put this with either Squawkabilly EX to get its HP from really low to acceptable, or on Bloodmoon Ursuline EX to increase its health from high to insanely high. So it has a bunch of different use cases, all of which are pretty solid. Taking up 2 bench spots is not great, definitely, but it can definitely with new games, Squawkabilly EX is definitely a Pokemon that gets gusted up and targeted. And Blood Moon EX is a Pokemon that has high HP, but can get one-shotted, especially at the end of the game when your opponent has a lot of things going their way. So Buffalon can save you in those positions, and there is a way to expand your bench in the set as well. So Buffalon can definitely be played there, which is with the Trapgirls, which we'll talk about. But next we have Crispin. This accelerates one energy. You need two energies of different types, so this needs to be a deck that's either a Dragon deck or a Stellar deck, but you can do that. You could also put it in some other deck, but it's kind of like a mini Mirage game. You accelerate energy to one of your Pokemon, and the other goes into your hand. It's a supporter, but you don't need 7 cards in the Lost Zone. So this can go into pretty much any of those Stellar or Dragon decks. Dragon Bolt, the Galvantula, Trapgirls, whatever. Right? It's solid though. You could put it into weird stuff. I saw like a Charizard EX, Greninja EX deck, so you could put it there. But Crispin is just a solid supporter card. I'm not exactly sure if this is the right spot for it, but I do feel like number 7 is fair. Next, number 6, we got Brier. This might be low, but pretty much if your opponent has 2 prizes remaining, if you take a knockout with a Terra Pokemon, it has to be the active, but you take an extra prize. Taking extra prize is really good. This can fix the prize map for you because a lot of decks want to take 2 prizes every single turn. If your opponent says you can only take 1 prize, then you can catch up by taking 3 prizes at a later turn. It's a pretty straightforward card. Honestly, most of these cards are pretty straightforward, but pretty obviously good. Taking extra prizes is always good. It's essentially 1 extra prize throughout the game, but and it's not even guaranteed. But if your supporter is 3/4 of the time, 3/4 of your games, you take an extra prize. That's really good. And obviously, it's only going to be a one of. You're never playing multiple of this. You could theoretically, but that's like really unlikely. But it is a very good card. Next, we got Trapgirls EX. That's 2 attacks here and 230 HP, which it's kind of high already, but with Buffalon and Bravery Charm, you're up to a whopping 340, which is like a lot. So that's pretty insane. But you have Unified Beatdown, cannot be used turn 1 going first or second. Obviously, you can't attack turn 1 going first, but you cannot attack turn 1 going second either with this attack. But it does 30 for each of your bench Pokemon, but you can have up to 8 bench Pokemon with a certain stadium. So that's going to be hitting 240 or 220 with a double turbo. It might have a double turbo, but definitely might not either. And then Crown Opal for Grass, Water, Lightning 180. And during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from basic non-colorless Pokemon. So this will be, I have the World Championships somewhere. So just looking at them. Yeah, that's an auto win against the top. Well, okay, it's not an auto win against Roaring Moon, but it's very good against Roaring Moon. It's an auto win against Iron Thorns EX and Miraidon EX. Like they just can't. I guess Miraidon EX does have Blood Moon Ursaluna EX, but that's just one Pokemon, and I don't think there's any recovery. So essentially, it's an auto win. That's an exaggeration, but it is very good against the top meta decks. So Crown Opal is why it is so high. I mean, Unified Beatdown is the main attack. It would definitely have made the list with Unified Beatdown, but Crown Opal gives it that extra edge that pushes it to the top. You can also use Crown Opal turn 1 to do 180, which is not going to be one-shotting too many Pokemon, specifically multi-prizers, but it is still a solid attack for 180 damage. If you just view it as through that lens, you can use some ways to power it up, including Crispin and then Glass Trumpet, right? So we got Glass Trumpet here, the 4th best card from the set. Spoilers, all the other cards in this that are on this list just help Terrapagos. They help other things, but they mostly help Terrapagos. Glass Trumpet, you can only use this if you have a Terra Pokemon in play. Choose 2 of your bench colorless Pokemon, attach them to your and attach a basic energy from your discard pile to each of them. It accelerates energy to Terrapagos, to whatever, right? Blizzard EX. I'm sure there are a bunch of things that I'm not thinking of. There's Ditto. There's a bunch of cool options. I've talked about this card when it was revealed a few times, I believe. But it's really good. I am going to definitely think of some combos with it, and there are a lot of combos out there as well. But yeah, Glass Trumpet is just a very, very powerful item card. Accelerating energies on an item is always insane. You could actually pair this with something like Darkrai V-Star. There's some really creative combos in having to have a Terra Pokemon to play plus a colorless Pokemon. You might have some bench space issues, but probably not. You could use this with the Galvantula EX and accelerate to Blissey EX, then move the energy off. So just some really cool combos here. And this card is going to be very, very good. Next up, we got Sparkling Crystal, which is a tool. It just says the attack cost of the Terra Pokemon this card is attached to is reduced by 1 type of any energy, or 1 energy of any type. So, no, what's this? This is a translation, by the way, so it's not the actual card. This is like, I always struggle to read this, but it is an A-spec. But if you know anything about Argvin decks, they usually play Forest Seal Stone and Here we go. This top deck's an Arvin deck, but that's a little bit different. But then you have Brier EX. This is an Arvin deck, and Arvin gets a tool and an item. Items are just really good. Tools are not as good. We see 4 tools. 2 of them are 4 Sealstone. You literally can't use multiple 4 Sealstones. It's not like there's an issue playing it, but it doesn't do anything. Brave Charm's like fine, can be nice, and Rescue Ward's also like fine, but not great. So you're going to be playing this supporter that just gets you an item, which is okay, and that's like solid. Look at Charizard EX, same idea here. We got 4 Sealstone, then we have some other tools. This Technical Machine is like solid, and Defiance Band is okay, but you're really looking for 4 Sealstone here. But you can only use this once per game, but then you can also use your Sparkling Crystal once per game. This is going to help out with Trapghost EX and other stellar Pokemon. It can help out with a bunch of different Pokemon, to be honest. But then the big one I feel will be Dragapult EX. Dragapult EX really relies on Arvin, and Arvin is, really good, as I said, but also only finding 1 tool throughout the game. So, also sorry, my throat is bothering me, so I'm trying not to like cough and stuff. It's kind of weird, but yeah, Sparkling Crystal here it's just really good for Dragapult EX because it allows you to go and it's kind of like New Upper Energy, helps you attack for 1 less energy. It can be any type of energy as well, so if you have a Fire or a Psychic, it'll cover either one. Then we have Area Zero Under Depth. The stadium says you can have 8 bench Pokemon if you have a Terra Pokemon in play. This guy's just really good. There's not too much to say about it other than like it's just super good. Having 3 extra Pokemon on your bench is insane, giving you so many more options than you had before. You could have potentially done some of this stuff, but this does allow you to do more damage with certain Pokemon as well. I'll talk about it some in the future, but Trapghost EX, it's super important. If Trapghost EX didn't have this, it would be really bad, but it does have it, so it'll be good. And then some V-Stars, Palkia V-Star, Zoroark V-Star, Hisuian Zoroark V-Star, Origin Form Palkia V-Star. And so you can just stick this in. All of a sudden, you're hitting way more damage. And also, if your opponent doesn't have a Terra Pokemon to play, they can't make good use of it. Most decks can slot in a Terra Pokemon as well. So honestly, probably every deck should just play a Terra Pokemon so you can make use out of the stadium. And also, if you discard, you can do some weird combos where you can like expand and shrink your bench, but it's just really good. The expanding and shrinking your bench thing could be used to heal as well. Then we have Noctowl, though, and Noctowl is my top card. I think I might be higher on this card than other people, but Jewel Hunt on play, assuming you have a Terra Pokemon in play, on play it is an evolution. So on evolution, and you can't use TM evolution with this, but on play from hand, you search for any 2 trainers and put them into your hand. That's insane. So there was a deck called, well, it wasn't just one deck, but there was Drizzile and Inteleon, and Inteleon is like good. And let's see, Palkia and Inteleon was one example. When I say there were decks, there's a good few decks. A lot of these are Palkia. This is weird because there were like there's COVID and stuff, so there weren't tournaments. But with Palkia, with Arceus, we have Urshifu. We have this Inteleon, like Dark Inteleon box thing, which is kind of fun. And you have some VMAXs. You have Malamar. You have a bunch of things, right? So this card saw a lot of play, and there's a lot of stuff not on here as well, like Leafeon VMAX, for example. But Inteleon has this ability. We'll go here. Inteleon has this ability. There we go. Search for 2 trainers, but it's a stage 2 on evolution. So obviously stage 2 is worse than stage 1. Then we have Drizzile, searches for a trainer on evolution. It's a stage 1, but only gets 1. This is the best of both worlds. Assuming you have a Terra in play, which is not that hard to get. So you just have a Terra Pokemon in play, which does not have to be a stellar Pokemon. It's intended to be worked with those, but it works with anything. So you just play like whatever, like an Ogerpon or a Trapagos, just toss a copy in and get it like turn 1 Nest Ball, and then turn 2 Noctowl, and all of a sudden just get set up completely. 2 trainers is super good. You get maybe a supporter or maybe just 2 items, but certainly 1 item and then either a supporter or another item. Could be a tool or a stadium though if you do need those, which can be hard to search. Tools aren't that hard to search, but stadiums can be pretty hard to search. So if you need the Area Zero Under Depths, you could get that. But Noctowl is just super good. It's my favorite card from the set as well. Probably it's not, I don't think, like the card I think is the most underrated. I think it's good. I think other people also think it's good, but I'm just really excited to play this. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider liking and subscribing if you did, and hit the bell as well. And consider joining the channel to support me. You could also just super like donate. I don't know. I've never seen anyone do it. But if you do want to support the channel, that is a way to do it. But the best way to do it is just to watch the videos and like and comment other cards you want me to talk about. But I hope you enjoyed, and as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.